First of all, thank you for having me again. So, as she rightly mentioned, we did a session for SPGen, and today we are doing a session on SIBM. We'll be doing IFT and NMIMS tomorrow and day after tomorrow as well. So, do join in if you can manage. And I'm going to cover the SIBM process today as to what you can expect, what has been the trend over the last few years, and the kind of questions that have appeared in the interview, as well as the topics that have appeared for GD as well as the extemporary. So let's start. Before that, I hope all of you can see my screen because I'm running a presentation, and I hope all of you can see what's going on the slides. So I did my MBA from JBMS in 2011, and after that I worked for quite some time in the industry. Then I joined, then I did a small 4-month program at SPGen, which is the Start Your Business program. And in the meantime, I also got certified in behavioral image interviewing, which is a technique of taking interviews, and also in the strong interest inventory, which is used in career assessment and guidance. As all of you must be knowing, so I'm the co-founder of Learning Roots, and I also drive the entire GDPI program at Learning Roots. And I've also taken sessions at some of the institutes here in Mumbai, and I also visit JBMS every year for the summers and final placement processes to conduct the mock interviews. So that's about me. Now, today what we are going to discuss is the SIBM process. I'll also give you an overview of what has been happening with SIBM over the last few years in terms of the selection process. So SNAP is just one part of the entire process. You take SNAP, you get a call on the basis of your SNAP score, and based on your preferences, you might have SIBM, SMHRD, SIIB, and so on, the other calls. Now, SIBM has been very innovative in terms of their process, and if you go through some of the interview experiences or the experiences of the selection process, you will realize that the interviews have always been very generic, very light, and there is hardly any grilling that is done in the interview stage. But the other part, which is the group exercise, group discussion, and VAT part, that is something which is very interesting. Even the extemporary, which is conducted during the interviews, something that you'll have to prepare for. And even though it has not been specifically mentioned, it is something that can come because it was there a few years back. So what I've done is I've taken the process of the last 3 to 4 years and then tried to put everything that you can expect. Some of it may not come because this year they have specified that it's going to be GE, PI, and VAT. So if you look at the entire selection process, out of 100% process, 50% weightage is given to your SNAP score, which is quite a bit if you consider the overall selection process. 10% is for the group exercise. 30% is personal interview. So which means that there is always a chance that in case you are slightly hesitant in the group exercise stage, or you're not very comfortable with group discussions, you can still make it up in the personal interview round. And the VAT, which is going to happen, that has 10 marks, 10% weightage in the overall selection. So 50% SNAP, 10% GE, 30% PI, and 10% VAT. Now, so if you look at the past few years, the group exercise and discussion, so this is how it has normally been. So you will typically have 6 to 10 people. It may be around 12 people as well, depending on how many calls they have issued this time and how quickly they want to wrap up the process. And of course, depending on how many people turn up, because then people can always fill the form and do the entire thing, but on the interview day, they may not turn up, or they have rescheduled and so on. So generally, you will have 6 to 12 people, I would say, and the entire group exercise and group discussion happens with the same group. Now, they have given GE as the header, but we exactly don't know whether the group exercise is going to be group discussion, the way it used to happen earlier, or group exercise. So, because last year, there was group exercise as well as group discussion. So, you have one group with which you participate in the group exercise stage. There is a small break after that, and then you also continue with group discussion with the same group. Okay. So the group exercise generally is you'll be given 4 to 5 pictures. Now these pictures, a lot of times these pictures have been are of some social issue. For example, there are some poor people shown in the image, or some children begging on street and so on. So those kind of images. And there have also been images taken directly from the cover of the Time magazine. So the Time magazine cover is shown and you're supposed to write on it. Now, the first 2-3 minutes is given for every individual. So if there are, say, 10 people, everybody will be given, say, 1 or 2 minutes to talk about the points that that person has written. And after this, you will have a discussion with the entire group on the same thing which is given to you. The other group exercise that has been the case over the last few years is the case study. So instead of your 4 to 5 pictures, you might be given a case study for discussion. Now this case study can be something very generic, or for example, there was one case study which was a minor was driving a car and some accident has happened because of that person. Now, there are a lot of other characters also in the story, so at the end, who should be blamed and so on. So that kind of discussion. Or a specific business case study where you are supposed to assume different roles. So if there are, say, 8 people, there are different roles given. Let's say the finance manager, marketing manager, PR person, HR person, operations guy, and so on. And then you have to understand, so the case study is generally long. I mean, so you are given 5 minutes to read about 2 pages, if at all you get case study. And then you have to understand, okay, what role you have been given, and then stick to your role. So you may be somebody who wants to, say, specialize in marketing, but in the GD you have to assume a finance role, then you have to stick to that role. So it's more of a role play kind of thing, but not really role play, because it's still a discussion at the end of the day. But you have to speak from the point of view of the character that you are playing. In the earlier process, there used to be a group discussion with the same group as well. And group discussion is a standard affair. You will have a topic given to you. So I've listed down a few topics as well that have appeared previously. And as I said, very standard, 10 to 12 minutes of time given to you. Initially, 1 or 2 minutes will be given for jotting down the points, and then you discuss. Again, the topics have been very generic, so it hasn't been something which is very difficult to speak upon. And something that has been introduced recently is the VAT, which used to happen a few years back, where they used to show a video and you have to write about it. They dropped that process in between, and again they have started that process. So that's why I said in the beginning that SIBM has been very innovative when it comes to their selection process. In VAT, so you will be shown a video. Okay, the video will be generally 1 or 2 minutes in length, and then you are given 10 minutes to write on it. Last year it was specified that you have the word limit is 50 words only, so you can't write more than that, and you have to adhere to whatever they say. So if you go for the process and they say that okay, you can write 100 words, up to 100 words, then you have to stick to that limit. But it's largely on the video that it's shown. Now, a lot of times people get confused as to when they have something which is creative. For example, if you are shown pictures and you're supposed to write on it, or if you are shown a video and you're supposed to write on it. So understand that it's not only about what you feel in general about those pictures or that particular video, because you are applying for a B school, and the B school wants to understand different perspectives that you give, first of all, but also some of the business or other aspects that you can bring in. So I would suggest that you be creative, but then make sure that you realize that okay, that you're applying for a B school, and your thought process of whatever you are writing has to be in line with that particular assumption. Now, it may also happen that in the interview you are asked about the group exercise and the VAT. So they can ask your opinion on a particular topic or the VAT that you have written, or things like how was your GD, and do you think you could have done better in the group exercise, or what do you think of the video which was shown for your VAT, and so on. So whatever you write, make sure that you keep it in your mind, because there might be gap in the process. For example, if you are somewhere in the afternoon slot, you may have your group exercise, your VAT, and then you have a big lunch break for 1 hour or something, and then you have your interview. So in that case, don't forget what you have written in the group exercise, what you have discussed in the group exercise, and what you have written for the VAT, because it might, a few things from there might be picked up and asked to you in the interview stage. When it comes to
Sorry,
yeah.
very sorry, Prasad, to disturb you like this, but your
Yeah.
screen is still showing the first slide. I just wanted to confirm if you have moved forward or if you're still there, because you've been talking for
I'm on the group exercise.
Is that the third or the fourth slide?
Uh, can you read 6 to 10 people?
No. That's the one. So I can. I mean, also wanted to confirm this with the other guys. Can you guys see? Right, I can see it now. So this might happen every once in a while. Right. Tina has written that she can't.
So this was the slide that I was referring to. Okay.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I had to cut you like that. But yeah, it's just I just wanted to make. Okay, now we're back on the first slide. So are you where are
So
you?
I was talking about this slide only, the group exercise and discussion and what.
Yeah, but right. Yeah, now again we're back. So this is yeah. Now we're back. Yes. So guys, if you can't see something, again I'm telling you again and again, if you can't see something, can't hear something, put it down in the chat. I'm constantly monitoring the chat. Every time I notice something, I'm going to communicate that or whatever, do the needful. That's why I'm here, right? So yeah. Sorry, Prasad. Please continue. Sorry. Yeah. Go on.
Okay. So is this slide visible now? The 6 to 10 people slide.
Yes, we right now I see group
Okay.
exercise discussion WAT 6 to 10 people depending on how many turn up, group exercise and so on. Right. Perfect.
Okay, so this is the slide that I was talking about. I was under the assumption that it's visible, but it's okay. The only thing that we discussed was that, okay, the construct of how the entire process works. You may have group discussion as well as part of group exercise, or it can be 4 to 5 pictures followed by a discussion on it. The fact is, of course, a video will be shown to you and then you have to write on it. Now, coming to JD topics. So the discussion topics have been so there have been cases where the panel has asked what kind of topic we want to discuss. Do we want a content topic or an abstract topic? So the abstract topic can be something like black is black and white is white. A bullet for a bullet and discuss. Content topics will be something like globalization does more harm than good for developing countries like India. So all these have been taken from some of the past interview experiences. Is it mandatory to have work experience for doing an MBA? Indian budget has always been people friendly than economy friendly. Homosexuality should be legalized. MBA is mediocre but arrogant. Is it possible to form one world government? Now, again, so when you're talking of GD, understand that don't make it a fish market situation because nobody likes that. Especially when the panel has to intervene and say that this is turning into a fish market situation and please stop and be civil. So make sure that you have a nice, comfortable discussion. 3 to 4 entries is generally good considering the duration of the GD as well as the number of people who are there in the GD. If you're starting the GD, give a structure to the discussion, and if you're moderating the GD, again keep a track as to how much time is being spent and whether you are able to discuss each of the perspectives that are possible to discuss in that particular topic. Point generation frameworks, there are a lot of them there, so you can use SWOT, you can use PESTEL, you can quickly start writing down points by breaking up the words that are there in the topic and so on, and that will help you participate in the GD. Again, don't be scared. Make sure that you participate, whether it is group discussion or group exercise. So if they're showing you images, and generally images will be easy because that is something which is what everybody will be able to relate to. But try and understand what others are saying as well, because if they're giving you say 4 to 5 images and you have to write something and then talk about it for 1 or 2 minutes, if you are starting that particular round, which means that your points might get repeated by number 7, number 10, and so on. If that is going to happen, then make sure that you are also adding something while you are actually discussing the topic in the group. So you may not have picked up that topic in the point in the beginning when the topic was the images were shown to you, but you can always build upon what somebody else has said, and that can definitely add some value to whatever you have to say. Okay. Now coming to personal interview. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the session, SIBM interviews have always been very live. And sometimes because of that, people don't understand whether the interview was good or it was not good. because you can't really make out when something like that happens. If everybody is smiling, at the end of it, you don't understand whether you will make it or you will not make it. So if you go through some of the experiences that are out there, you will understand that the questions are typically only from these categories that I have mentioned. You will typically not get anything outside this. So it will be a good idea for you to sit now, if you already haven't done your preparation, go through your CV and then see what kind of questions can be asked to you. Almost every interview generally starts with tell me something about yourself or some abstract question. So recently I was taking a mock interview and I asked the student, why are you here? So you don't assume that, okay, about yourself will be the first question that will be thrown at you. You might get different versions of the same question. So how would your friends like to describe you, or what do you think of yourself, or what do you think of this campus, and so on. So the starting question can be an icebreaker question or something which is what everybody expects it to be, which is tell me something about yourself. After that, if you are somebody who has say 0 to 1.5 years of experience, or you're fresh out of college or currently in the final year of graduation, you might be asked questions related to academics. So whatever area in which you are specialized, at least prepare a little bit from that area, at least the basic concepts. For example, if you are an engineer, probably laws of thermodynamics, let's say, which is very basic. If you're a chemistry student, then basic definitions, or what are neutrons, protons, electrons, and so on. So if you falter there, then generally the interview doesn't go well, because you have to sort of back it up with something else. If you don't answer some of the basic academic questions, then you have to make sure that the rest of the interview goes really well for you to convert. If you have work experience, then again, questions related to your work experience. For a lot of people, right now the scene is this way, that a lot of people do engineering, then they work in something which is not related to the area in which they did engineering, and they want to do MBA in something else. For example, you might be a mechanical engineer working in an IT company, but wanting to do MBA in marketing. When you have this kind of different career paths that you have taken or you want to take, you have to sort of justify why do you want to do that and the reasoning behind those choices. A lot of questions can be asked upon based on your work experience. Your typical situation-based questions, for example, demonstrate a time. Can you tell us something about a time when you demonstrated leadership, or something which is very generic? For example, how does a typical day of yours look like? A lot of times, SIBM likes to ask questions on the background. So, what's the meaning of your name? How do you pronounce it properly, or how do you spell it, or a particular thing, or where are you from? What is so special about your hometown? Who all are there in your family? What do they do? And those kind of questions. So be ready. If you have some exotic name, you can always be asked what's the meaning of your name. Or if there's something special about your hometown or something that you really like, then you can mention that. MBA specialization, they almost always ask, so what do you want to specialize in? Why MBA and why a particular specialization? So you need to be extremely well prepared for these things as to why do you want to do MBA at this particular point of time in your career, and how is it going to help you achieve some of the short-term as well as long-term goals, or the purpose of your life, to be very philosophical about it. And why a particular specialization? So if you want to specialize in finance, why? There has to be some answer to that question. It won't happen that one day you woke up and decided that I want to specialize in finance. So the reasoning of it has to be there at the back of your mind, and if you write these answers down, then in the interview you will actually be able to communicate in a much better way. The reason why I'm talking so much about the interview, because in the process that is going to happen, 30% out of the entire process is going to be interview. So make sure that you put your best foot here. In terms of hobbies and interest, again, a lot of questions here. So what are your hobbies? If you like to read, then what kind of books do you like to read? Who is your favorite author? What was the last book that you read? And there have been instances where they have asked that do you want to do MBA, so management education. Have you read anything related to management? So depending on when your process is, if you have time, it will be a good idea to read at least one management book. You can pick anything from the books that are available, not a problem. But in case they ask you, it will be a good idea to have some book in mind that you can talk about. Current affairs have always been tested during the interview stage. They might ask you to explain anything that has happened in the last few months or few days, or they might present a situation to you and ask your take on it. So what do you think about this particular situation? Another thing that SIBM likes to do is ask your preferences. So what other calls do you have? The typical question. They may ask you that, okay, when did you start preparing for MBA entrance exams? What are your scores in different exams? What other calls do you have? And then, of course, preferences. So if you have applied to SIBM, IB, SCM, HRD, SCIT, and so on, they will ask you that, okay, what are your preferences? Now, of course, you're going to say in the SIBM interview, you're going to say that it is SIBM if the question is between SIBM and SCM, HRD. But then the question doesn't stop there really, because they want to know, okay, how does SIBM separate SCM, HRD? So then you'll have to talk about the advantages that SIBM has over the XYZ institute. I'm not saying that SIBM has advantage over SCM, HRD, but depending on what's your take, what has been your research about different institutes, and where SIBM fits. So SIBM may have advantage over a particular institute, or you have been interacting with a lot of people from SIBM, and this is what you have formed as the impression of the institute. Or where you work, you got to interact with some of the managers in your company who studied at SIBM and so on. So that brings us to the question, which is why SIBM? Now, again, this is something that you will have to prepare for. So go through the SIBM website. If you go to Quora and check for why SIBM, you will definitely find answers by some of the people who studied there. You can also check on YouTube, you might find something there. The campus is beautiful, by the way, so in case you're going there for the first time, then it will be a good experience. Another thing that is very very different, unique about all the Symbiosis campuses or institutes is that whenever you go for the process, you will always find the first year and the second year students, which is the student relation committee. They will be coordinating the entire thing. So you will find the entire GEPI PAT process largely coordinated by the students of the institute. So this is something that you can talk about during the interview as well, that if they ask you, okay, why do you want to join SIBM? Probably this can be one of your points that since the time you have, this is the first time that you're visiting the institute, but what you have understood is that it is largely driven by students. Students take part in a lot of activities, including, so there will be a person who will be assigned for your group, and that person will answer all your queries that you have about SIBM or the process and so on. And they will make sure that your experience at SIBM is a pleasant one. So this is something that you can probably talk about in the interview in case you don't have any other answer for why SIBM. Now coming to the Extemporary. So in the interviews, when the interview is going on, generally the interview lasts for about 10 to 15 minutes, not more than that. So earlier they used to give a topic during the interview, and you have to speak on that particular topic. So there are chits that are thrown in front of you. You have to pick a chit. Whatever topic is written, you have to talk about it for 2 minutes. And these have been some of the past topics. So there have been topics which are very generic, for example, something like success and attitude. But there have been specific topics, for example, despite legal enactments, Dalits still are subjected to humiliation. Responsibility of media, one who laughs, laughs with all, and the one who cries, cries alone. Necessity of innovation, good economics is good politics. Making mistakes is a way to learn. Individual freedom and civil society. So, frankly, it will not be possible for you to prepare for something like Extemporary, because the more you read, the better you will get at something like this, because you need to have content and that needs to be created in the 1 odd minute which is given to you. If you are thrown a situation, if you are given a situation like this, you probably have around 1 minute to just think about it, jot down your points, and then 2 minutes to talk about it. And they might pick up something from whatever you are saying and then counter question you. So what I would suggest is the normal preparation that you do for your group discussions, that should help in extemporary as well, in case, if at all it comes for you in the interview. So point generating frameworks are always there to help you if you don't have any idea about the particular topic or you haven't read enough about the topic. But don't be afraid of anything during any of the processes that are there. So whether it is group exercise, whether you get some difficult question in the interview, or your extemporary topic is bad, write something and then talk about it. Because the more you participate, your chance of getting through is definitely better. And please note that in case you don't do well in any of the process, if you, let's say, don't do well in GE, you have VAT and PI to make it up. You have 50% weightage for your SNAP score, which has taken care of the 50% of your selection. So do well in the remaining part of the process. Don't be under the impression that it will be very easy and I'll just go walk in there and be able to convert the call. That doesn't really happen. And because we have seen a lot of students over the years take this part very lightly. They think that they've gone through the written test rigor, and now they don't have to prepare because their communication is good and they have done well previously in the interviews. But that cannot be the right way to go about it. You have to prepare because there are so many others who are preparing and who will eventually do better than you in case you don't prepare. So you have to match your level of preparation with their level of preparation at least. Another thing that I want to talk about is, I'll go back to the previous slide, which is on the interview part. So as I said in the beginning, I've been taking a lot of interviews for people who have calls from SIBM, SCM, HRD, SIIB. One thing that I always like to ask in the interview is when people typically say that if I ask why do you want to join this institute, people will say that there is very strong alumni network and alumni, they are doing good in the industry and it's one of the best ranked institutes in the country. The moment you say alumni, my next question is going to be, can you tell me at least 2 or 3 well-known alumni of the institute? So if you can't name even one alumnus, then you are in trouble, because then you haven't done enough research about the institute. So before you go for any of the processes, remaining processes, whether it is SIBM or anything else, make sure that you know at least 4 to 5 people who graduated from that institute and are at a very big position in the industry or have started something of their own and so on. And it can be in line with your interest. For example, if you're interested in marketing, at least know, okay, what if there is somebody from the same institute who has been marketing head of a certain company and so on. If you are interested more in entrepreneurship over a period of time, see what people who graduated from SIBM have done who are entrepreneurs right now. So these are the things that will differentiate you. The more you prepare about the institute, even things like why do you want to choose this institute over that institute? Because there have been cases when in the past, and again, don't give framed answers, because sometimes panel will ask you that from where did you get this particular answer, and sometimes people get defensive about it, that nobody gave me this answer and this is something that I personally feel. But again, don't get defensive at any point of time in the interview. Be very open, smile, enjoy the process, be present, be engaged in what is going on. Don't stress. And as I had covered most of the points in the SPGN interview as well, and we'll be covering quite a bit in the IFT and NMIMS interview webinar that we are planning. So make sure that you keep all these things in mind, but you give a natural interview. It should not be an interrogation at the end of the day. It has to be a good experience for both you and the panel who is sitting there. Again, about the panel, generally panel for SIBM is you will have two members in the panel. One is generally faculty and the other is an alumnus. So either alumnus or alumna. There might be a third person in the panel as well, but that is very rare. So expect two people. And if you are going to talk about the academics and some of the faculty of the institute that I have read about this particular faculty and so on, make sure that you have at least seen a photo of that faculty, because otherwise it will happen that you'll go for the interview and say that, okay, I like XYZ person, and the XYZ person is sitting right in front of you. So don't get into those kind of situations. Do as much homework as you can about the institute and go, and I'm sure things will work out in your favor. So that's it from my side. I'll be taking questions now. If you have any questions, use the chat window.
Great stuff, great stuff. Okay, guys, can you hear me? I think you can. Prasad, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
Right. That was great, and it was nice and short and sweet and wonderful. So I think Tina had a few queries in the very beginning. So what happened, I suppose, because of the GE, because of the little bit of technical problem we had, I think some slides were skipped. So I think Tina wanted an explanation of the GE one more time, if that's okay with you. Because we have some time in our hands. If you would be okay with it,
okay,
we just go back and maybe those first 2 or 3 slides that we missed, maybe we can just that GE bit, whatever you were talking about in the beginning, that whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Maybe we can just have a, because I think, okay, sort of can't hear. Right, we can address that. But Tina had quite a few questions, so you can look. If you scroll up, you had quite a few comments all the while, because a lot of people were having some technical difficulties.
I thought I'll just finish the presentation first and then take the questions. So I'll just quickly go through the group exercise discussion back. What I've done here is I've listed down the processes that have been there for the last 3 to 4 years. So you may or may not have some part of it. Your exercise will have 6 to 10 or 12 people. The group exercise will be, they will give you 4 to 5 pictures and you will be asked to talk about it individually and then discuss it among the group. Or you might be given a case study for discussion, which will be a generic case study or a business related case study where you have to assume certain roles. Or it can be a group discussion, which is a standard affair lasting for 10 to 12 minutes. And that's it. So that this is how your GE will work. For VAT, you will be shown a video and for a minute or two, and then you will be given 10 minutes to write on it. There will be a word limit which will be specified. So that is how the process is going to work. Okay. I think the recording is going to be put on the QSLeap website and the Vimeo page as well. So if you have missed, then just you can watch the video again and then go through it. Okay. I hope that will help.
Yeah, I think Ashik, will you share this PPT with us? Right. So what we do is the entire thing has been recorded. So we put up the video on QSLeap and it is tagged to Prasad's profile. So if you go to his profile on QSLeap, which I have linked into that email that I sent you. I sent quite a few emails, and I don't think it was in the last email I sent, but in one of the emails that I have sent you, Prasad's profile link has been embedded into his name. So if you click on that, you can go to his profile, and by the end of today, I will have uploaded this video on Vimeo. So we usually do the upload on Vimeo, and then we link it back on our site so that you can access it. So yeah, it's all going to be there. It's just, I was just asking if anyone. Priyanka has a question. Yes. And Saurav has a question.
Okay, I'm just going through the entire chat.
Okay.
Ina is asking what is CT for IMT Ghaziabad. So CT is a critical thinking test, and generally what happens in CT is very on the similar lines of what happens in VAT. So you'll be given a topic or a case, and then you have to write. So they're basically trying to get your written communication skills and ability to break the topic or the case which is given to you in different aspects, and then write on it. So the critical thinking, if you want, I can share topics later because or the experiences that people have written down. I can share that with you. But again, it's on similar lines of what you have for your VAT. So you can say it's sort of an in-depth VAT rather than, because they generally give 30 minutes for it, if I'm not wrong, and which is pretty much. So if you decide to write for 30 minutes, then of course you'll be covering quite a bit. Okay, in case of IT, what will they ask? So typically, what was your favorite subject? Why did you choose IT? Then if you're somebody who is not working in IT after say graduating in IT, then why did you decide to change your stream or decide to take up this particular company and so on? And why did you not work in the same domain? Those kind of questions. Fundamental questions can always appear. So give me definition of this particular thing, or what do you think of this development in the domain of technology, and so. Priyanka is asking, I've been shortlisted for SIBM Bangalore. So if asked why SIBM, what do I say? As it's not a great B school and I'm interested in HR. Why SI? It's not a great B school. I mean, you're talking about SIBM Bangalore. Okay. So see, though the institute might be a little new in the classic definition of the time that a B school has to spend to be recognized as a good B school, but of course that is not the sole parameter. Now you may have your own reasons for SIBM Bangalore. So what I would suggest is the same thing that you will do for SIBM Pune, which is to go through the website, see what all activities are undertaken by the institute, student clubs, committees that you're interested in, what alumni have done in the industry, and so on. So that way, do more research from your side, and that will help you form an answer. It has to be the impact that the institute has created over you, in the sense that you went to the website, you read, you went through some of the core answers or YouTube videos, and then you made a picture that, okay, if I go to this institute, the objective that I have for doing my MBA, it will definitely help me achieve that objective as well as in my long-term goals. So that way you can structure your answer. In case I don't know, another question, in case I don't know anything about the topic during GDPI, how do I prepare myself? Okay. So first of all, this situation can happen, but most of the times the topics are very generic in nature. So because of which it will be possible for you to talk about anything. As I said during the session also, there are point generating frameworks. So you have political, economical, social, technological, legal, environmental. So these, if you think of a topic from all these perspectives and at least get 2 to 3 lines on each of them, you will have enough content to talk in the GD. Also, if you don't have any awareness, anything about the topic, for example, we had conducted a GD where the topic was glass ceiling. Now, if you are somebody who doesn't know anything about glass ceiling, then you don't start the GD. You let somebody who knows about it initiate the GD. And then once you understand, but then you have to be very quick in understanding and grasping that, okay, this is the topic and this is what I'm supposed to talk about. And then you grab the opportunity and be at least the third or the fourth entrant once 1 or 2 people have spoken and given an overview as to what the topic is. So this is something that you can do. Use point generating frameworks. Write down the points that you can, at least 3 to 4 points, and then participate in the GD, which means that whatever is somebody else is saying, you pick that up and then you relate it to something that you already know, and then you make your point. I'll take the next question. If we are not confident about extemporary topic, what should be our approach then? So, Soumya, to answer your question, now you are given, they will generally give you a minute a minute and a half to think about that topic. And as we saw in the PPT, the topics are not very difficult. For example, if I give you a topic like uh, success and attitude, now very generic topic, right? So you can speak about this, but then that 1.5 minute is very crucial, because there you will define the structure for what you're going to say. So your structure can be the introduction to the topic. If the topic is something which demands pros and cons of the topic, or in favor of or in against the topic argument, then you can structure it that way. And of course, you have to conclude. You have to make sure that in 1.5 minutes, you'll probably be able to say about 20 lines or so on the topic. So if you have time in your hand and your process is in the next week or the week after that, practice a bit of extemporary. You can ask anybody, maybe a friend, or if you're studying with somebody, then you can ask that person to give you any topic. You think for 1.5 minutes and then talk about it. So that will give you a bit of practice. Again, it may not be as perfect as one would want it to be, because out of the total 30% selection process, hardly going to matter much. But having said that, you need to practice so that in case it comes, you are not completely baffled. Another question, what should we say if they ask SIBM HRD or SIBM Bengaluru? Since in this case there is a lot of difference between the colleges. So see, if you are mentioning a particular thing, then you have to back it up with reasoning. So if you say SIBM HRD, then you have to give reasoning for that. If you say SIBM Bangalore, you have to give reasoning for that. Even they know that, okay, SIBM HRD has been there for quite some time. So a lot of people will prefer SIBM HRD over SIBM Bangalore. But then you can always have your research in place and give that as the justification that, okay, this is why I want to go to SIBM Bangalore over SIBM HRD. So there's nothing wrong, right or wrong, but then don't just say that, okay, I want to join SIBM Bangalore because you think you have a better chance of getting in there. So my answer would be about the institute, that, okay, I consider, based on what the research that I have done, I personally feel that SIBM HRD will add more value to me, or I see myself more suited to SIBM HRD than anything else. So yeah, to answer your question, you can be frank and say SIBM HRD, but then give strong 2-3 points in favor of SIBM HRD. Okay. Another question, how much weightage does an extemporary carry? I understand it may be different for different colleges, but still. Colleges like GDPI, Extemporary and PI all happen. How much roughly an extemporary weighted? Hardly anything, because if you look at, say, let's talk about purely in terms of numbers, your interview is going to last about, say, I would say 15 odd minutes. Okay. And out of that, your extemporary is about 2 minutes. So that way also, if you think, then your weightage doesn't go beyond 12% or something. But it's not as concrete as the way I've mentioned it right now. Because see, extemporary it's just a part of or extension of the interview. In interview also, I'm asking you questions that you're not expecting, right? I can always ask you, what is your opinion about XYZ thing, where you may not be expecting that question. So an extemporary is the same thing. I'm giving you a topic and I'm asking you to talk about it. So there's no definite weightage as far as I know, and it's just a small bit of the entire exercise. Another question, how important are academics for symbiosis? So I don't think they have explicitly stated if there is any weightage for academics, and even the 100% breakup, if you see, doesn't mention academics anywhere, which means that academics the absolute score or your CGPA is not going to be used, and you're not going to get extra points if you have scored higher. But if you're somebody who has had a good score in 10th and 12th and then seen a drop in graduation score, you can expect questions on the academic record. If you have been consistently scoring 60%, 10, 12 graduation, they might ask, you are consistent, but why is it so low? Or if you are somebody 90, 90, 10, 12 and some 16 graduation, then somebody will say that, okay, what happened exactly in that year? So I would say prepare for some of the topics or subjects which were your favorite during your graduation and so on. If you have had a shaky academic record, then have some justification for it. Again, you can always say that this happened and I've realized what I should not have done at that point of time. But be honest and accept that, okay, this is how it is. But since you're sitting there, then you've done quite a lot since that particular point of time. And you can make an answer based on these things. Another query from Chinmay. I'm a CS engineering grad, but do not have any engineering work experience, but have worked in a different industry altogether for 2 years. What level of technical academic questions can I expect, if at all? Very few questions. I don't think you'll be asked a lot of questions, but fundamental questions can always appear in any of the interviews. If you're working in a different industry, then again that question as to why you did CS and then got into a different industry, and then questions on your work experience rather than your CS. Another question, please give your opinion on UBS Business School, Karjat, Mumbai. I am not too sure also, I don't want to get into the institute comparison here. So if you want, we can probably discuss it offline. Okay, I hope that's okay. Shirish is asking, I have 17 months work experience in IT, after which I started making my final year project into a business, but couldn't succeed. Will this be seen in a bad light? Okay. So now, as I understand, you completed your graduation, then you worked for 17 months in the IT domain. You left your job, and the final year project which you had in your engineering, you decided to make a business out of it. And unfortunately, it didn't go well. Okay. Now, this can be considered, if you talk about the learnings that you have, that you got because of this experience, then I think it will make more sense to talk about it. Otherwise, even if you don't mention it, it's still okay. If you want to mention it, then be ready to answer counter questions such as, why do you think it didn't work, or what could have been done differently to make it successful, or do you think leaving your job was justified to take a risk like that? Be ready for a lot of counter questions, and I think I don't personally see it in a bad light, because any failure will eventually teach you some experience that you can use. So you get a transferable skill that you can employ somewhere else. So I don't personally see it in a bad light, but then you have to justify as to what exactly happened, and if given an opportunity, you will go back and sort of change some of the decisions, or you may want to pursue something else at a later point of time. But entrepreneurship, or the ability to take risk and being innovative and trying to pursue something of your own, is always looked in a positive frame, at least in the changing business scenario. So I don't see it as a problem. Is there any possibility of technical questions? Yes, as I said, but limited to fundamental questions. Regarding IT experience, you may get, for example, recently I was interviewing somebody and HTML was written on the CV, and I asked, okay, can you explain HTML the way you would to a layman? And the person could not answer it the way I expected the person to do. So those kind of questions. Coding, I don't think you will be asked very specific things. But again, generic questions. So do you like coding, or what all languages do you know, or what's the difference between, say, this particular language and that language, and so on. Another question, want to know whether or not I'll be asked technical questions because I've been working with, not really. I mean, guys, just a suggestion to all of you, don't stress about a lot of technical questions. Generally in interviews, they will not get into in-depth discussion on a particular thing, unless the panel has one or both the members of the panel have some background in it. So if you are a computer engineer, a computer science guy, and the panel also has computer science background, then there is always a possibility that there will be a nice discussion on something, but otherwise, no. Okay, I think we are almost towards the end of the session. We at 6:57.
Yeah.
So are there any more questions?
Okay.
Okay, Medha has asked a question. Could you please help? What should be the raw framework of the CV? What all should we put? Okay. So the first thing that you will of course start with, if you're making a CV for the first time, you will have your name, your email ID, and your contact number at the beginning of your CV. After this, you can put either summary, so a quick 2 lines on your entire career. After this, you will start with work experience if you are somebody who has work experience, and you will write it down from the one which you have currently in the reverse chronological order. 1 or 2, I think all of you will have probably somewhere around 0 to 3 years of experience with not more than 2 companies on your CV. So you will write it in that way. After this, you will write your academic background, so where you studied, what you studied, your score, and so on. If you don't have work experience, of course, that column will go away. After this, you will write about your academic projects if you have done any. After this, you will write about some of the internships that you have done in your academic career. After this, you may want to write some of the technical, let's say you have technical background and you know languages and so on, so you can mention those things. After that, you can write your academic achievements and followed by extracurricular achievements. After this, you will write your hobbies and interest, and if there is any other information that you would like to add, then you can mention it and close it there. So any other information meaning something for which you may or may not have proof, but something that you do. For example, associated with an NGO XYZ, or languages known, say Spanish, French, German, whatever. So those things can come. Typically, for anybody, I don't see CV should be more than 1 or 2 pages. So restrict yourself there. If you want, you will always find some good formats available on the net. If you want to see some really good CVs, I would suggest going to the Harvard and the Stanford Business School website, where they have given some of the CV formats. So if you want help there, you can just download the format and start putting your data.
Perfect. Great stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So any more questions? Right. Okay. So that was amazing. I think we've wrapped up just in time at 7 o'clock, and lots of questions. Good stuff. I like this. People should be asking questions. That's the kind of thing we like. So hopefully all of you guys have had a good idea after the session about what to expect if you're going in for the round 2 of SIBM. The good news is we are not stopping here. We are doing more stuff like this. Tomorrow we are doing IIFT, and day after tomorrow we are doing NMIMS. I said this at the beginning, but there were a lot of guys who had just joined. Who joined after I mentioned this. But we are going to do successive sessions. So we're going to do one session tomorrow, which is at 11 a.m. in the morning. I agree that's a little early for people who sleep till the afternoon maybe. But yeah, you need to be at the edge of your seat right now because you guys are preparing. So I would expect, in case Saturday is working for you guys, I'm sorry, but this stuff is going to go up on our website. So you can always come back and hear it later. The only disadvantage is you won't be able to ask questions like you guys did today. And Prasad has the answers for almost every question out there. So I completely understand how you might want to attend it. But then, there are ways to handle it because Prasad is present on QS Sleep. If you go to his profile, which I mentioned just a while ago, that I've linked his profile into his name in the email that I sent you. If you go to his profile, there is a message option. You can send him a direct message and he can get back to you regarding any personal queries you have. So so that option is available. If you can't attend tomorrow, please make sure you attend on Sunday. Sunday it is at the same time, but it's NMIMS. It's not IIFT again. It's at 11 a.m. again. So I'm going to send out emails again. I'm going to send out an email tomorrow morning regarding the session, and I'm going to do the same on Sunday. So yeah, guys, please attend because it's nice when you see, just like Medha's question must have helped the others, and because when one person asks a question, everybody else benefits from it. So that's the whole point of these sessions. So Tina's questions benefited you guys, and then Medha's questions benefited everyone else. So that's also one of the reasons why I ask people to put in their names. And guys, put in your email address as well, please. I mean, in case you haven't already, because what I like to usually do is I like to send out an after webinar email or a recording of the email to all the attendees. But if you guys don't enter your email address, I don't see it. And then it's very difficult for me to track you guys down from the Leap database. So if you, I mean, just might as well put down your email addresses so that I can reach out to you later on. Also, I would like to have you in the next, upcoming session. So sometimes I like to send personalized emails because, I just like emails that way. So guys, yeah, please attend the upcoming sessions. And yeah, I think that's about it. Any more questions, please feel free to ask. Do you plan to conduct more online GDs? Yes. Okay. So about that, so last time we did try something like this. We tried to do an online GD wherein we had a GD session with Renuka Sagre, who's another one of our experts. She did a session with us, but then we wanted to do a spin-off mock GD from it because we didn't want to invite the entire. Okay, I'm not Shawmik, but okay, we'll come back to that. I just finished what I was saying here. So we couldn't send out the link. We did send out the link to the entire database, and it was a complete breakdown because a lot of people joined, and then it went a little berserk because there was probably a lot of technological glitches happening. So realistically, it didn't happen. But we have plans for holding online GD. I mean, we'll probably do some topic-related sessions. Like we might want to discuss one specific topic, like an abstract topic or a technical topic. Maybe we can do something with Prasad here because Prasad is very, he's had a lot of experience with actual candidates. Like he's actually interviewed people. So, I mean, even I'm yet to have those discussions with Prasad as to what we can do. But yeah, we can always innovate and we can always do new kinds of things. It's all about, what you guys like. So that's the whole point of this session, because at the end I get to talk to you and I get to discuss with you what you want to do next. So aside from everything that we plan for you, please feel free to reach out to me and give your suggestions. Where the mock GDs become a little difficult, because it's an online setup. You can't see each other. You can't really notice body language and all those things are there. But I mean, we can always make a makeshift sort of an arrangement. Whatever you like. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, guys, please write to me. Okay, now going back to Rashmin, what you've said, I am not Shawmik. I don't know if you can hear me, but yeah, I'm a woman, and Shawmik is a guy's name. So Shawmik sir is Shawmik Ganguly. He's our product head. He is the evangelist for. I am Divya. That's right. I am Divya. He's the product evangelist for QS Leap. He's the person who has started this. That's okay. You don't have to be sorry. It's fine. That's because it says Shawmik Ganguly. But yeah, so he's the man behind the product. He's the one who started all of this, and he has very, very generously given me access to his GoToMeeting account. See, because this is the organizer's setup ID. So that's what I use to sign in and set up the conversations. So yeah, I am Divya, and I say this at the beginning of the session, but then again you guys come in later, so then you miss the point. Then you address me as Shawmik. It just becomes weird. But no, I'm totally cool with that. By the way, I think Shawmik sir is amazing, and if anyone calls me him, I feel very pleased. It's a good thing. So yeah. Anyway, I'm digressing here, so I'm just gonna come back to what I was saying before. Guys, please feel free to write to me. Please feel free to use Leap as you want to use it. It's your platform. It is entirely free for a reason. We don't like to put constraints. कि boss ये use करना है तो you have to pay money, or this ये use करना है तो you have to do this. We don't like to do all that. It's a free platform. It's an open platform. Anyone can join. Anyone can do whatever they want. I mean, not whatever they want, because there have to be some sort of administration going on somewhere. But yeah, we like the feedbacks. We like the people giving us their thoughts. We like that, which is why also we do these kind of sessions where I can directly talk to people. Like I have the chance here to speak my mind, to tell you guys what I want or what I like and how I want to, because I'm the community manager. So I should tell you that I'm the community manager. So I'm supposed to manage the whole QS Leap community that has been, it's coming up. It's actually doing quite well, in fact. So guys, please. Please come back. Please join our sessions. Please give your ideas. It's not just about getting into a college. It's also about doing well after you enter the college and having a good career. Our objective is to do that. Your entire timeline, your entire life cycle as a student should be meaningful. That's what we want. So that's the idea. uh, right, so I've spoken a lot now. Prasad, do you have anything else to say? Please go ahead and say so if you do.
Not really, actually. I'm going to be doing 2 more sessions, so I'm looking forward to those sessions now.
Yeah.
And I hope the session was helpful, what we did today. And if you guys have any queries, then you can always get in touch with us.
Yeah, because I mean, I think it was very helpful because the kind of things that you said about, especially the thing that you said about the technical queries. I think a lot of people fret over technical queries. I know for a fact that they do. So, coming from you, someone like you who has actually done this a lot, if you say that technical queries are not important, boss, okay, technical queries are not important. Maybe they are important, but not probably just as much as you guys fret. So I think it's all about knowing who you are. I mean, that's what I feel. If you know for absolutely certain, if you're absolutely certain of who you are and what you want in your life per se, not just for the MBA, from the MBA point of view, I think you're sorted. I don't think you'll have problems.
So
So
just to add a little there. So in terms of technical questions, so I am a chemistry graduate actually,
oh,
and in
okay.
whatever interviews where I appear, the questions that I was asked, I'll tell you. One was, tell me the law of periodicity, which is a very basic question in chemistry. That
Okay.
properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic numbers.
Hmm.
I was asked in one interview as to why I studied chemistry, my response was everything under the sun can be studied by chemistry, and then I went on to say, okay, this is matter and that is whatever. Then again, the type of glass which is used in chemistry labs. So I was asked a question on that in one of the interviews. So these are very basic things that we sort of typically pick when we are studying.
Right.
Not something that you sit and prepare for in the short time frame that you have. So, but be ready for at least your favorite topic. Because I used to say that my favorite topic is analytical chemistry, and then because then you're giving a direction to the interviewer that okay, ask me question on analytical rather than say organic. So that is the way you can approach that. If they say that okay, oh, you studied mechanical engineering, you can always say that yeah, I studied mechanical engineering, but these were my favorite subjects, and then guide them to ask you questions related to that.
That's right. Yeah, this is something that I've heard from quite a few of our experts. They mention this, that you can actually make the interview go the way you like it. It's not far from impossible. That's quite possible, where you can actually direct it in a direction that you are comfortable with, rather than having them structure your interview. You can actually structure your interview because you can always take it in that direction. So I think that's a great strategy. So what you're saying, I'm kind of reminded of that. So yeah, I think that is a good idea. So yeah, it's just also you can't learn chemistry without knowing what is a round bottom flask, and what is the difference between a conical flask and a round bottom flask. You have to know that. That's basic stuff. So someone asks you what is the difference between the two, and if you can't answer it as a chemistry grad, definitely something is wrong with you. And they will, and that's got nothing to do with the technicality of the subject. That's just about knowing what you're doing, why you are even in the chemistry lab, for that matter, is what I feel. Please correct me if I'm wrong, God. Okay. Oh, Raman has a question. Hi, Prasad. Have we discussed this one? Why MBA? Prasad, do you want to answer that? Hello? Hello? Okay. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Oh, shit. Hello? No, no, no. Oh, no, shit. What happened? What the hell happened? Damn it. Something went wrong. Something went wrong. Oh my God. Come back. Come back. Son of a bitch. Ah, shit. What happened? Things just stopped. Oh shit. Oh shit. What happened? Oh shit. Hello? Hello? Eeks, 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 eeks. Has been re-established management of. That was scary. Shit, I have no idea how to get back into this again. Shit. No idea. Hello? Hello? Oh my god. I'm so sorry about that, guys. I'm so glad you guys are still there. I thought people will just leave. Can you guys hear me now? There was an internet connection problem. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Right. Sorry about that. That was a bit of a, I got pretty freaked out there. But anyway, it's cool. I'm back. I don't remember what I was saying, but I think what I was saying was that I really don't know how far you guys heard me. But okay, so basically what I was saying is that you can't be a chemistry grad and not know the difference between a round bottom flask and a conical flask. Sorry, I'm just reading the replies. Okay, so Prasad, can you hear me? Are we back on? Can I? Is everything okay now? Oh, has Prasad left? Oh my God. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Never mind, guys. It's okay. If Prasad has left, that's all right. That's probably because, he thought that something went wrong and, things had to be shut down. So never mind. We're done with the session anyway. Right. So I'm going to put this, when I put this video up, you're going to probably get this 2-minute silence also in the middle where everything was lost. But yeah, that's okay. I'm just going to end the meeting now, guys. If you have any questions, please reach out to Prasad. He's there on our website. He's there on QS Sleep. And please remember that we have another session tomorrow, which is at 11 a.m. We have another session after that on Sunday, which is also at 11 a.m. The one tomorrow is IIFT, and the one day after tomorrow is NMIMS. I'm just going to keep repeating that for as long as I can. I'm going to send out emails to you guys so that you can. I'm going to give you the link and everything. All that is going to happen. But on your dashboard, I also need to get this feedback from you guys. When you log in on QS Sleep, do you see the events on the dashboard? Can you guys just quickly put that in here for me so that I know if you can? Because we have put in, we've put in place a system where we can do that, where your events will be there on the dashboard. So can you please quickly tell me if you see the events? Do you see them? I don't know what's happening. Hello? Did you guys hear what I asked? Oh, okay. Everybody has left. That's all right. Medha, thank you for saying that. It was an amazing session. Thank you for saying that. You're welcome. Please come back for the next sessions. I think I'm just going to end the meeting because we are having internet problems every now and again. Now and then. So I think it's a better idea that we just end it here. Cool. All right. Thank you guys for attending. I will see you tomorrow if you come back and the day after. All right. Thank you again. I will see you. Bye. Take care.